One is an addition of a report. We need to include a report. New report from the Trees Conservation Committee was approved just a short time ago, an hour ago. We have Delegation 4A has advised he will not be attending this evening. That is the representative of the Canadian Union of Postal Workers, but will be attending the CDC committee, I believe, in June.
Yes.
So that one is off the list to shorten the list. And then we would ask, so there is an agenda, an addition, changes. Are there any additions by members of council requested? Councillor Carty.
Thank you, Your Worship. Under number 13, resolutions, I have a resolution I'd like to add, which is involved the other side of the hero, which we had in community services. I'd like to address that. Thank you.
Any other member of council? Councillor Wheat, please.
And I apologize. Other business 14, I've got an item. Actually, I've got a second item also. And it's regarding making an apology to an individual name that I used when I was encouraging Councilor Obama to take a leave of that.
Thank you. Number 14, resolution, under resolutions. Anyone else that complete the list? So we have the list. I'm sure the clerk has all the changes that have been suggested. We need a motion then to approve that agenda as changed in several ways. Moved by Councillor Pierce, second by Councillor Miller. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. With that, I would ask the clerk to comment on attendance, even though it predated. Go ahead.
Councillor Bauma has advised he will not be here this evening, and as you may know, Councillor Simons, she continues to have some medical issues that will be discussed later in the meeting, and she's unable to attend.
But we are so pleased to hear that Councillor Simons returned home, I believe, this morning or yesterday.
Yeah.
Very, very shortly. So pleased to hear that. Welcome back, Councillor Simons, to home. Done the approval. Declaration of pecuniary interest by any member of council. None at this time. Delegations, and as I said, A is not attending. We go to B. Dave Thompson requests for bylaw to prohibit commercial signs at memorial parks, cemeteries, and similar properties. Please come forward and proceed when you are ready.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Heather, right here. I'll make this as quick as possible, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for seeing me this evening. My journey here this evening really this time started April 26th. On April 26th, there was an open house sign. It was a Thursday evening on our Memorial Park corner. I will, can you see the mouse? This is approximately where it was on the corner there. It's been an ongoing thing for years, is that the open house signs, and most of them are open house signs on the Memorial Park Boulevard there. But on April 26th, I took an open house sign from a Century 21 realtor off of the park and returned it to the property that it was designated for. And then we moved forward to on April 29th, which was the day of his actual open house. We were leaving our place, and this is what we found from the same Realtor. He brought the sandwich sign back and added a banner to our Memorial Park corner. As I said in my email to the mayor and others of the county, at the time, my phone call to this Realtor probably was a little less cordial than he's used to. But his response to me was he knew that the Memorial Park was there, he knew the monument was there, and he knew the cenotaph was there, but he needed to generate traffic for his open house. And it's sort of sad when we have to consider legislating common sense respect. The present bylaw for the county of Brant states that these signs are allowed, these sandwich board signs are allowed on the day of the open house on these particular places. So my initial thing was to come to council and say, let's do something about this at the park. This has been an ongoing thing for years. I mean, the previous manager of the St. George Arena, he said to him one day, so what do we do with these silly signs that show up here all the time? And his answer was throw them in the scrap bin up at the arena like I do. And over the last few years, there's been other people, property owners nearby that take them and return them. I'm understanding that even Mr. Bradley's done one or two. However, in doing so, I discussed this aggravation with myself and others with Mr. Bradley, and I said, I'm going to come and I'm going to say, like, okay, let's change this bylaw and stop this at our Memorial Park. And he said, well, yeah, but that's not the only place you have the problem. You got the problem at Rest Acres Road, this Paris Cemetery. They put them on the cemetery property. You got the problem over here at this cenotaph once in a while. And he said, maybe it would be best if I came and asked the county council to ask staff to draft an amendment to the present bylaw covering the Memorial Parks, cemeteries, both private and county-owned public cemeteries, and all these other properties. I'm sure there's other properties that the staff could come up with. And I talked at length this afternoon with Greg Bergeron, who is one of your bylaw folks. He said that it would be nice because the present bylaw really there's nothing they can do on the day. So Mr. Bradley arranged for a really nice sign to be put up at our cenotaph corner, and the sign says, please respect our fallen heroes. Do not post commercial signs at this memorial. And you know, it's really a nice sign. It's really appreciated. But there's one of the Comfrey signs. It's actually on the park, okay? I will go to the next picture just so you can see where it is. This particular picture here, you'll see on this post, there's a moving sale sign stuck right on the post. There's our sign with please respect our fallen heroes, and in the background you will see the open house sign. So I'm here to ask council to have staff look into the possibility of amending the present bylaw to exempt or to cover places like Memorial Park in St. George, Memorial Park in Paris, cemeteries, both private and public cemeteries, and sort of in a roundabout way exempt them from the bylaw allowing people to put these signs on these properties, you know. And then at least the bylaw enforcement people have, you know, some traction, they have some teeth, and maybe we can put a stop to this. As I said, it's sad when you've got to legislate common sense respect, but you know, this is these particular properties should not be used to garner traffic for open houses and stuff like that. So that's what I'm here to ask council to consider, asking staff to look into amending the present bylaw just by adding a line saying that certain properties, they're not allowed at any time. That's my presentation, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you for your presentation. Any questions by members of council of the presenter? Councillor Miller?
Quick question through you, Mr. Mayor. David, would you include political signs in there as well?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, just checking.
Any other member of council have a question? If not, thank you for your presentation.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Your requests will be considered. Next is the Reverend Joel Shervina, minister of the Paris Presbyterian Church, with a request. Welcome. Please commence when you're ready.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again as well for an opportunity to come and to speak with you briefly tonight. I come on behalf of Paris Presbyterian Church, a congregation that has served in this town in its current location for the past 125 years. And with the building of that age, we're now coming to a place of realizing that we have some repairs, necessary, expensive repairs that are needing to be sorted through. So part of the process this past year is we have been exploring what are our options as we consider how we continue to move forward in the community. Some of the options are to stay in the current location, to not only repair but also to look at specific renovations. And then other options would be actually looking for other locations within the town in terms of a potential new building. One of the challenges that we're facing with our current building, if we were to stay, is the issue of parking. You may recall back in 2013 when we came before county with the problem of our parking lot is on the east side and our congregation is on the west side of Grand River Street, and county was wonderful in helping facilitate a traffic light there. As a congregation, we have the helpful problem that we continue to grow, and so with more people coming, more vehicles are showing up, not only on a Sunday morning, but also throughout the week. We're a congregation that wants to be open to working with the county and with the community. We currently have 5 organizations, community groups that use our building throughout the week. That's in addition to our other ministries that is involved throughout the week as well. And so we see this as a concern, not simply for a Sunday morning, but also through the rest of the week as well. And so my ask here this evening is if county would consider asking staff to begin a conversation with us with regards to the land that is currently being used by the Lawn Bowling Club. Just possibilities to see what type of a partnership, what this could look like, possibilities for us, perhaps with staff and with the county. There are other options for us with regards to parking as well. We have no set agenda in terms of where we see ourselves going from here, but we just simply want to come around a table, have a conversation, and begin to see what those possibilities are. And so if county in its wisdom tonight would be so inclined, we ask that you would direct staff to begin a conversation with us about possibilities moving forward specific to the Lawn Bowling Club. Thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you for your presentation. Questions? Councillor Pierce.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you, thank you for your presentation. Now, just question, are you looking at the lawn bowling area strictly for the parking issues, or are you thinking other things on that property?
Currently, we're not at the place. Currently, our most specific need is that of parking. About 2 years ago, the county did lease us the croquet field, so the field closest to us for parking. Around that time, we then realized what was needed to get it to upgraded to in order to park there, and we decided not to take that step yet. I'm not wanting to put money into it until we figured out would we be here more longer term. So my request would be, currently right now, it would be likely looking for a parking need.
If I could, Mr. Mayor, as a follow-up, how many spots do you have in your part of the parking lot now? How many spots do you have?
So including the paved lot and then next to it is the gravel lot, we have 45 spots.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, if I could, is it all, like you talk about through the week as well with the different folks that you have in there, do you find that parking lot is full through the week as well, or are we thinking here that just potentially on Sundays where you need more overflow?
Currently the biggest need is on Sunday morning, but one of the arrangements we have with Grand Experiences, the outfitting, is that they can use our parking lot on Saturdays to park their guests cars up there as well. Our greatest need is Sunday morning, but as we continue to move forward, we host concerts throughout the weekend at times. We host different youth groups. We have the Raw Carrot Soup Enterprise, so we are noticing that our lot is filling up. And if we move forward with the type of repairs and renovations we think we need to sustain us for the next 100 years, potentially, we don't want to sink that kind of money into a building and then realize that we're really stuck on parking.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor Carty?
Thank you, Your Worship, through you to Reverend Tribino. Congratulations on having that problem. I know it's a good problem to have today.
Thank you.
Congratulations, too, with the Raw Carrot. What an enterprise, and what a good thing you're doing for the community and the people that are utilizing it and working there. Very good, very good.
Thank you.
Do you have any use of the parking at Central School at all? Do they allow you to park in that area at all, or is that not allowable by them?
We have not explored that as of yet.
Okay.
I know there's about probably 10 to 12 spots there, but no, we have not explored that as of yet.
And I do know there's other churches in that area too, which makes it a very heavy parked area on Sundays as well, so I know it's a tough spot. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Councillor Gatward?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to Reverend Shabiro, the parking at the lawn bowling club, is it used one day a week for the lawn bowlers and the rest of the week you're able to use it, or you want to be able to use it?
I used to park.
I guess our request is more in terms of the use, like for example, just wanted to have discussions around where the county sees the potential for the lawn bowling club down the road. And so I know there's currently a building, there's currently the croquet field. I'm looking at possibilities of ways we could expand our parking.
Right.
Currently, on a Sunday morning, we're able to park in our lot and in the gravel lot, and we have no issues with the lawn bowling club using our parking on the Fridays and on other nights when we're there. So I guess our request is to see, are there possibilities to expand our parking in that area?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor Wade?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to the presenter. Being it concerns a lawn bowling club, which comes under community services, may I suggest to you that on Monday, June the 4th, at 2 o'clock, you make that presentation at the community services meeting, because the lawn bowling comes under community services department. And I think that's the place where this presentation belongs. Personal opinion.
Thank you.
Councillor Pierce?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. If I could follow up on Councillor Wheat there. We actually spoke of the lawn bowling club at the last Park and Rec committee meeting as well, in regards to what they're trying to do to grow their program and that type of thing. So I think your timing is very good on this, that we could potentially get, a few parties involved as to how we can make this work for sure. So they are talking about different things as well. So I think, as I say, your timing is right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Gatward?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't see, the lawn bowling club does come under the jurisdiction of the community services. However, the whole community services committee is currently present here tonight. So to repeat this presentation seems redundant to me. We've heard the request, and community services staff, if this is referred to them, can consider it, and they could bring a report back to community services regarding the request.
Any
Thank
other
you.
questions by members of council? Councillor Powell?
Through Mr. Mayor to Reverend Sherbino, you mentioned Grand Experience, that's Jamie Kent.
Correct.
Now, do his clients walk up the hill, park their car rather, walk down the hill and walk back? There's no buses involved or canoe trailers, etc.?
To my understanding, they would park and then they would walk down and then they'd come back up. There's been on occasion as well, Kip's Funeral have used our parking lot for parking as well. But my understanding with regards to your question is they park and they walk back up.
Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, thank you for your presentation, and it would be dealt with by council. Council will make a determination in a few minutes.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you for appearing. Members of council, that completes the list of delegations this evening. How would you like to deal with item number B, the request regarding the matter of prohibiting commercial signs? Councillor Chambers?
I'll move that the presentation be received and referred to staff for a report. I believe it should go to the Corporate Development Committee through the bylaw situation.
Thank you. Is there a seconder for that motion? Councillor Powell? Discussion of the motion. Councillor Wheat?
Well, I thought you were calling the vote. I was just
Oh, all right, sorry, thank you. Any member of council wish to speak to the issue? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Request of the Paris Presbyterian Church. How does council wish to deal with that? Councillor Gatward?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would move that we receive the presentation for information and refer it to Community Services staff for consideration and negotiations.
You wish to refer it to staff rather than to the committee? You
Community
usually refer it to the committee. The committee deals with their staff on the matter and gets it back in a report.
Well, the Community Services Committee has heard the presentation this evening.
Correct.
I don't think it's necessary to repeat it, but
Thank you.
I think it would be best to refer it. The request from Reverend Shabino was to work with staff
Yes.
on the lawn bowling property. So that's why I suggested
Thank you.
Community Services staff.
Councillor
So
Pierce.
I'm seeking a seconder.
Councillor Pierce?
I'll second it and I'll speak to it. I guess just for confirmation, the entire community service is not here, so it could be heard at community service for Councillor
Thank
Boma's
you.
consideration. I agree with the fact that we can definitely work something out here, and I don't know if it has to be involved with this motion or not, but as I said earlier, we've already spoken of this from the lawn bowling side with Parks and Rec, so I would like to have whatever conversations are had to have them included in there. So I think I'll second the motion as
Thank
it is
you.
there, but I agree it should go to community service and be discussed then. And if Reverend is available on Monday, through you, Mr. Mayor, it would be beneficial for you to come, for sure.
Thank you. Any member of council wish to speak to the motion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. That completes the list of delegations and disposal of the requests. We move to number 5, adoption of minutes from previous meetings. And we have a list of 3 before council. Is there a motion in that regard?
Thank you, Your Worship. Resolution is that the County of Brant Council minutes from April 21st, 4th, May 10th, and May 14th be approved. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Powell.
Is that all 3 of them? Yes. Any member of council wish to comment? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Business arising from the minutes, there is nothing listed. So we are over the page to consent items. None to be approved. Consent items to be received, 1 to 10. Consent items to be received from the circulation file, 1 to 13, I believe that is. Any member of council wish any item withdrawn from either list to be discussed at this time? Councillor Powell.
I had the resolution sheet, Mr. Mayor. It's moved by myself, second by Councilor Pierce, that items 7, B, and C be received.
Any member of council wish an item to be withdrawn from the list before they're approved? None? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. We are now to committee reports. And the first being the Planning Committee report of May 1. Councillor Wheat.
It's moved by myself, second by Councilor Powell, that the Planning Advisory Committee report of May 1st be approved.
Questions of the chair? None? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Community Services Committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Powell, that the Community Service Committee report of May 7th, 2018 be approved.
Questions of the chair? None? All in favor of the report? Of the motion, rather? Opposed? Carried. Public Works Committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, second by Councilor Miller, that the Public Works Committee report of May 8, 2018 be approved, noting there are 12 items.
12 recommendations. Any member of council wish to comment? Question? Councillor?
A question through you, Mr. Mayor, to Brian. Recommendation number 11, the hardtop program. I'm looking at and I think I understand what it means, but it could be misconstrued, I think. The process will be that a recommendation will come from staff to the Public Works Committee, and then it's my understanding then the Public Works Committee will make a recommendation to council, and council will ultimately approve the recommendation or change it or whatever. The recommendation is kind of a little bit ambiguous as long as we understand what it means. It says, be presented to the Public Works Committee for consideration and approval. I'm assuming that the approval is extended to the council approval. Thank you for the clarification.
No speeding?
What numbers? Oh, I'll get it, sorry. Sorry, is there a question?
No, call the vote.
Call a vote, already?
I'm ready.
Yes. Any further questions of the chair? None? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And we'll go to Corporate Development Committee report.
Thank you, Your Worship. It is moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Pierce that the report for the May 14th, 2018 Corporate Development Committee report be approved. Seeing there are 6 items, sir.
Questions by members of council? No questions? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Trees Conservation Committee report.
Moved by
Councillor Miller.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Coleman, that reconsideration of application for minor exception number 18-01 regarding the property located at 220 Highway number 5, Lot 9, Concession 2, Geographic Township of South Dumfries, County of Brant, be deferred pending receipt of an environmental impact study and necessary permits from the GRCA.
Questions to the chair? None? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Staff reports. It's the next number. Next item. No reports. Information reports, none. Communications, none. Questions, my members of council, and answers there too, perhaps. Number 12. Any member of council have a question? If not, we're to resolutions. I'd put you, Councillor Wheat, under other business, but I think you wanted resolutions.
No.
No other business? Okay, then we'll leave it. Pardon? Councillor Cardy?
Thank you, Your Worship. Under other reasons, under resolutions, I've been reviewing this with Mr. Bradley about a visit we had from a Miss Stephanie Miller at the Community Services meeting, who's a first-line responder. And she brought to us a information package regarding documentary film, The Other Side of the Hero. And what this is about first-line responders and the after effects of being a first-line responder. And it really struck a chord with me, and I've talked to Mr. Bradley about this and what we could do, and I've asked to put a resolution forward that may sound like this, Your Worship. Whereas the County of Brant recognizes the critical need of greater awareness regarding the impact of post-traumatic stress disorder on first responders, and whereas an exclusive screening of the film, documentary film, The Other Side of the Hero, will be held in Brantford in June for the first responders and their families to help promote awareness and education regarding post-traumatic stress disorder. Therefore, that the County of Brant provide $3,500 towards defraying the costs for the County of Brant paramedic and fire services employees and their families to attend the exclusive screening of the documentary, The Other Side of the Hero, to be funded from the fire service and paramedic services operation and operating budgets.
Thank you. Councillor Pierce?
I'll be happy to second that if I can speak to it. Yeah, that's actually, it was a great presentation that she did when she came in here, and it was actually one of the things that I brought up, in the fact that originally they were going to be charging admission for these folks to come in, and I didn't think that was right. I think it's very, very important, and I think it should be free for them to attend, and I think this is a fabulous way to help them in their and support them in their efforts. So I'm more than happy to second it.
Thank you. Moved and seconded. Discussion by members of council. Anyone have a question or comment? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Carried.
And Your Worship, I'd like to say thank you to all the councillors here. I'm sure they're all aware, some of them being past firefighters and things in our community. We really appreciate what you're doing. Thank you.
Next item is Councillor Wheat concerning gravel trucks on
Concerning the gravel trucks,
Nith Road.
when, as you'll recall, when we approved Dufferin gravel pit, it was controversial. And I've received a couple of complaints from residents about our gravel trucks after they leave the pit, not following the truck route that was set up.
Yes.
And speeding, particularly on Watts Pond Road West, where it becomes a gravel road. So I asked our Public Works Department if they would contact the gravel truck drivers and try and obey the truck route and try and obey the speed limits that we have posted here in the County of Brant, and try and get along with everybody. The second thing, which I did not put on, a couple months ago or 6 weeks ago, when Councillor Obama officially announced to us that he was entering the provincial election campaign and would be missing some meetings, you'll recall I encouraged him to take a leave of absence. And I referred to an individual who I'd like to apologize to, named Councillor Rod Rolleman in North Dumfries, because I do follow the air news and read about a councillor there who had had some illness and had missed some meetings, and was under discussion what they would do with that individual, and I named Rod Rolleman, and that was incorrect, and I apologize if I caused any problems to Mr. Rolleman, because I used his name incorrectly.
Thank you for that apology. That is most welcome. And we note the concern about the use of gravel trucks, requesting them to use required routes. Any member have a question of either of these items? Councillor Pierce?
Not a question, but a comment to the trucks. I go that way to work every morning, and I find it astonishing, actually, because I go up the air road probably 20 to 7, 6:30, 20 to 7, and there's got to be 7 or 8 or 9 of the big trucks lined up on the side of the road, waiting to go down the Watts Pond Road. So I'm not sure how many trucks are in and out of there a day, but I can only assume, as Councillor Wheat said there, that, you know, it's just as much of a problem coming back. But I even find that, now I'm not, you know, I've never driven a big truck, and I know if you get over a little bit too far, you're gonna find yourself in the ditch, but I'm thinking it's not the best place for them to be parking, and especially a couple times I've come out Watts Pond to turn onto the air road, and you can't really see, because they're all lined up down the side. So I'm not sure what we can do about that part of it as well, but that may be in addition to what we're talking about here. So, but they're definitely there.
It's a safety matter you're raising. Thank you. Any comment?
No, I just brought it forward
Thank
because
you.
I've had a couple calls from residents about trucks not following the truck route and speeding on Watts Pond Road where it turns into gravel, and I said I would bring it forward. And we all need to get along in this world. All our roads are for everyone's use.
Yes.
And
Thank you.
we have to try and get along with everybody.
Motion to receive for information, both the items, moved by Councillor Coleman, second by Councillor Chambers. Thank you very much. All in favor? That leaves us to the list, I believe, the item rather, number 15, in-camera items, and there are 3, and there'll be a motion regarding that. Councillor Chambers, present.
Moved by myself and Councillor Miller that we go in camera.
On the list is presented. Moved and seconded, discussion, all in favor, opposed, carried. We shall be in camera in a very short time. This is awfully nice considering the weather we're having to get through. May the pace continue. Right?
And you're feeling okay. You're looking a lot better.
Oh,
You must be feeling.
of absence. Councillor Chambers, second by Councillor. Pardon? Oh, you have a motion, sorry. You said that. Go ahead.
And it's moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Miller that the leave of absence be granted.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried. B is in camera, correct? Yes. C, there is a motion moved by Councillor Coleman, second by Councillor Miller. Pardon? It's in camera as well, is it? Okay. So no further action on in-camera items required, and we can rush on to that very, very important list known as bylaws. So do we have a motion regarding the approval of bylaws?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you. It's moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Coleman, that bylaws be now read a first time. Bylaws number 58-18 through to bylaw number 74-18.
First reading of bylaws, all in favor? Opposed? Carried.
It's moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Coleman. Following bylaws be now read a second time, and all clauses and preambles be adopted. Bylaw number 58-18 through to bylaw 74-18.
Second reading of bylaws numbers 5818 to 7418. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Any member of council wish to question or comment on any bylaw being passed this evening? Anyone? None? Please proceed with third reading.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Coleman, that the following bylaws be now read a third time, passed, signed, and sealed. Bylaw number 58-18 through to bylaw number 74-18.
Third and final reading of bylaws as listed. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. I see it's only approaching 7 p.m., but realizing that people are anxious to leave, I'll use the rest of the hour in signing the bylaws. However, Councillor Chambers.
Well, Mr. Mayor, it is
Yes.
kind of unusual to be finishing this early, and it's also unusual that the gallery is completely packed
Yes, sir.
at Paul's last regular council meeting. I thought they'd be here trying to beg him to stay, but at least they're not here telling him to go.
Hasn't happened.
Mr. Mayor, this is Paul's last regular council meeting, if I understand it correctly.
Yes, sir.
And some of us have been here for his entire tenure here, and not all of us, well, most of us have enjoyed the experience. Perhaps all of us have enjoyed the experience. I'm sure Paul has. From my own self, Paul, and from my heart, it's been wonderful having you as the CAO. And I certainly, you're not through yet, but this is the last regular council meeting. And we have time for at least a 15-minute speech, a farewell speech. But anyway, on my own behalf, thank you for all that you've done, and you've helped me out, and you will be missed. And with great anticipation, we look forward to Michael's arrival. So there's a blessing in the rainy clouds. So good luck, Paul.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much.
Anyone else wish to comment or speak? If not, I will leap to the front and express my admiration, appreciation for Paul's performances, activities, and accomplishments. It has been a pleasure to serve with you, Mr. Emerson.
Thanks, Mr.
And a great deal has been accomplished in this municipality during your tenure, which I expected to be somewhat longer. It's been a great pleasure as well as an honor to work with you. But I think of the many meetings that we've had and the great meeting of minds and the accomplishment. It is so important for a council and a chief administrative officer to be on the same page.
Yeah.
And with you, that has been the case. And that's why we've accomplished with your leadership. It's no doubt about it. So it's my privilege to send you off with a handshake.
Well, thank you.
I realize it should be a lot more.
No, that's great.
Paul?
Can I say a
if you would
couple
like
things?
to comment?
Sure.
But
Thank you very much.
It's been tremendous.
It seems like yesterday
Yesterday.
that I think you said to me, well, it was almost 8 years ago now, but the mayor said to me, well, it was the first council meeting, I remember sitting here, and you said, well, at the end of the meeting, you said, I guess you should make a maiden speech. I wasn't prepared for it, and I don't know what I bumbled out, but,
Are you ready now?
well, so now it's a swan song, not a maiden.
Yes, yes.
I can't.
No, it's a swan song, the opposite end. Yes.
But, and I remember well when, Robert, you and Brian had approached me back when I was still with GRCA, saying that you'd gone through a search for a CAO and it wasn't working out, and would I be interested in coming forward, and so I got to say, I want to thank you so much. It's been a tremendous opportunity. I really didn't expect that. And I thought like a lot of us do, I think we know more than we do, but I'd worked in public life, I worked in public life all my life, and I thought I was pretty familiar with what municipalities do, and probably compared with most of the population, I was. However, what a single-tier municipality does just amazed me.
It's
That the number of ways it influences the lives of the citizens that live here, it really opened my eyes, and like I say, and I'm not just saying this, it was really an honor and a privilege to be a part of it for the 8 years. I agree, I think there were, not because of me by any means, but because of the council and because of the great staff and a number of citizen volunteers, there's been a lot accomplished, and I know there'll be a lot more accomplished in the future, too. Brant is a great, everybody says they live, at least in Canada, I hear mayors and so on say all the time, they live in the best place, the best city, and the best province, the best country, but I think most of us that live here believe that. I mean, we got everything going for us. There's great people that live here. We've a really diverse economy, wonderful environment with the rivers and the farmlands and the forested lands have been, it's wonderful. And our location is really second to none. We're on a major arterial route. We can get almost anywhere we need to go, both border crossings into the GTA very quickly. And on the other hand, our location is maybe going to be our biggest challenge because the rest of the world is discovering us. And so that will be the challenge for the staff but the next council for sure, as has been dealt with in the past. And I know this council and the staff, and I'm sure the future council, and will be well up to the challenge. So thank you. It's been great. It's been my privilege, my honor, my good fortune. So thank you.
Paul, we thank you.
Yeah.
We really thank you, the council and staff. Thank you for leadership.
Thanks.
Tremendous. Tremendous. Councilor Coleman.
Mr. Mayor, when I go words that Robert has already said, and your Paul is absolutely correct, I've actually spent the last 15 years working with this man.
Yeah, with GRC.
Oh,
GRCA
yes.
And now the last 8.5 years here, or whatever it is, in the county. And I appreciate everything, Paul, and I know that Robert will remember we were struggling, going through the search for an MCAO.
Yes, sir.
And a lot of us sat each other in one day, because we always sat together at the RCA, C's, the two C's sit together, and alphabetical order, and that's where
That's
I
right.
wanted to be a council too. Alphabetical order, I always said that. Anyhow, he said, there's a man that could be a possible candidate for the CAO of County of Brant. And I'd already worked with Paul with the fundraising for the Twin Pad.
Yeah, that's right.
And I knew his capabilities, and he's believed in striving for the top, and we all, none of us, but Paul, we all have our differences with everyone. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Everybody has their strengths and their weaknesses, but Paul, you rise to the top when it's needed, and you've guided us through, and you're absolutely right. This county is we are sitting on a gold mine.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't want to hear that, especially the ones that are already here.
Yeah.
Because they are just so scared of what's going to happen down the road. But anyhow, Paul, I appreciate everything, and I know you are very concerned. What if I don't get the job at Brant? You said that. I haven't forgot that.
Oh.
I said, you'll get the job.
Oh.
There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You'll get the job, and you'll rise to the
You
job.
knew.
And I still remember the one of those spaces around that board.
Oh,
When you
when?
announced your retirement.
Well, I know.
And about 2 minutes later, well, I'm going to County of Brant.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, well, thank you.
Councilor Miller.
I'll be brief, and obviously, Paul, you put us on a good path, and I thank you for that. I also want to thank you for a lot of things you didn't do. And you helped us not step in a lot of landmines. I thought that's pretty good. But I think a testimony to how much we appreciate you is, if you look around some of our neighbors, I think the city's gone through 4 or 5 CAOs during your tenure
Yeah,
here. I know
yeah,
South, they've
yeah.
replaced 1 or 2, so I think that's a testimony
Yeah.
to, how well you've done and how much we appreciate you, so good luck.
Thanks, Dave.
Councillor Carty.
Thank you, Your Worship, and Paul, I remember going into high school when Paul was leaving, and Johnny was still there,
Yeah,
and Foster Scott said, well, I got 1 more to go, and Johnny was still there, and I remember...
you got charged for streaking. Oh, God, that was...
I was one of the backdoor rules, by the way, on that. But anyways,
It's true.
I remember Paul and I talking a lot, and just his passion for the county was very...
Brant.
It's just so strong and true about the county of Brant and Paris. You know, I believe that coming from the area is that added flavor. And sometimes I understand it's hard to separate the passion from the reality of things happening, especially the growth we're going through right now. I know Johnny and I talked about it, and Paul had talked about, there was only 4,000 people at one time.
Yes.
People come in and say,
No,
how
that's-
come we got so many people now, and they don't understand the whole legacy of the community, but it's good to have those people because it actually it's good to know where you come from because you know where you got to get to, and it makes a big difference. Paul, your passion for the
Yes, sir.
community, you see it every day, you wear it on your sleeve, and for that I congratulate you.
Thanks, Tom.
Councillor Pierce.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a quick one here. I think we all know what Paul brings to the table, but I'd like to bring somebody else's opinion into this if I could, and that is of my father. He said after Paul had gotten the job, he, as you know,
Yeah.
he's still stuck close to the county and stuff like that, and Dad's words were, "You're in good hands," and he was so right.
Really? Wow, great. Thank you. I hadn't heard that before. Yeah.
Councillor Wheaton.
Well, I could talk for an hour, but
Yeah,
I'd make the mayor happy if I filled in another hour, but
Thank you.
one of the things you really brought for me personally is the social aspect,
Yes.
because it's not all work. You have to have some fun in what you're doing, and you knew how to have fun. Whether we were just away at a day meeting with Six Nations or the city, or we were at Good Roads or another.
Good point.
You brought some laughter to it later on in the day. And we even found out this winter when we went to scout a hockey player, you found another kid who was even better, and that's Cam Hillis.
Right.
Nobody ever talked about Cam Hillis, but they're talking about him now. But something that you really did, well, I have a great seat, Coleman, and I'm not changing for your alphabetical order or anything. But I, with no disrespect to Cynthia, who was already here, but there was another lady that normally sits there at meetings, and you brought Bradley and Hewitt and Newton, and 3 key members of staff
Oh, yeah.
came under your tutelage, 3 of them. And Cynthia, you were already for your meeting. But I have the ability to look over at
Thank you.
3 new members of staff that are very key members.
Yes.
You brought them along, thank you, Paul.
Yeah, we can't forget Mark. Mark was
Mark was
promoted.
already here.
No, but he was promoted.
He was promoted, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's the
I
one.
just consider him already here, because he was here before I got. But, yeah, when I look over the 3 key members of senior staff that you brought along.
Yeah. Great.
Right,
Yeah.
right on.
and
Yeah, it's a
found-
good team. You have
And
a good
found
staff.
Cam Hillis.
And Cam Hillis.
When I taught Paul high
Yes.
school. Yes,
Oh, yes.
I wasn't sure whether it was as prime minister or premier, but I'm glad you became a CAO because we needed that hands-on, local, enthusiastic spirit. So that's great to have him, even for this short time, and the great job that he's done.
Thanks, Murray. I could tell a really funny story. When Murray was my teacher,
Yes.
grade 13 geography,
13 jobs.
and I went off to the University of Waterloo in an environmental studies program, and a friend of mine, Bruce Buckley, do you remember Bruce? He he was in a similar program at another university. So Murray had invited us back in January or February that year to talk to his grade 13 class about the environmental studies, geography/planning programs at these universities and give them a taste of university life. So, and Bruce is still a very good friend of mine. And I remember so we're at the front of your class and I went first. And I talked about all the courses and the things you would learn and all that kind of stuff. And I thought I'd done a pretty good job. And then it was Bruce's turn. And he talked about the social life. He talked about the parties and the girls and the this and that. And I could tell you, as he was talking, I thought, oh, you blew it, Emerson. Because all the kids were focused on him. Not what I talked about, but Bruce's version of university, not mine.
Oh,
I remember that well.
very nice, very nice. What do you wish to do now? Well, if that's, so, you'll leave us at the end of the month.
Yeah, well, so I think
So
we have
your
a special,
final hours-
we have a special council meeting tomorrow on education session.
Oh, that's tomorrow. Yes.
do
Yeah, we could roll right through it, couldn't we? Yes. With that, thank you. Attendance. And so pleased.